As you can see by the video, had a little problem yesterday getting up the hill. Now I have gone up that hill and did some prospecting in this Jeep up there. I've done, the only change that I've made was the new bigger tires. And last time I drove up there and never spun the tires. This time it was kind of a disaster. We turned around right after that and went back home. When I got home, I found that the tire pressure, the people that installed the tires decided to put between 42 and 50 psi in my tires. So that was obviously a problem. But what came out of all that was that I need more articulation in the front end. If you look at the tires, I had one hanging here that was just spinning when this one was up. I need to free up the front end. Now that's a pretty easy fix. I got this. Okay, that's not going to show up too well, I guess. Bought one of these. This is a sway bar disconnect kit. I'll show you where it goes. This is the sway bar right here. This solid piece goes across the front. This is the mounting bracket. The piece that I bought, you're going to take this piece right here off and replace it with a unit that I'll show you in just a second. You pull the pin and that'll disconnect it. That'll give the front axle that extra movement that we talked about. Real easy. A bolt, a nut here, one down here. You can't see because this knuckle's in the way. And then you pop that off, put the new one on, put the pin in, and that way you have your sway bar on the road, which will give you a lot more stabilization, but you'll get your articulation when you're on the off-road and get these tires down where they can grab. So now we're going to go ahead and put this on. I'm going to air down my tires down to about 30 to 35 psi. Shoot it again and see if this thing gets up the hill. I also have a Aussie Locker for the debating whether to put that in the front or the rear. That'll improve the traction also. One, I put a sway bar disconnect on. I'm going to give you a demonstration of that real quick. And I have mounted an Aussie Locker in the front. Great product and a great company. I had a little hassle. My error. Called the company, fixed it straight away. It was really, really good. So let me show you and give you a quick demonstration of what the sway bar disconnect is going to do. Here is the demo I was talking about. That is the passenger side of the vehicle. You can see the floor jack underneath it. I'm up 5.5 inches. So we're pretending that I'm going over a 5.5 inch rock, and that has pulled it up. And this is what has happened to the other side. As you can see, the tire is about, that's not the best angle in the world, but you can see the tire is 1.5 inches off the ground. So you're not, just by going over something solid, without the locker in the front end, this tire is going to spin, the other one's going to have traction. Now, I'm going to demonstrate what happens when we disconnect the sway bar. All right, this is the sway bar disconnect right here. This is the sway bar. This keeps your front end straight, especially when driving on a road, for stability. But when you're off-road, it's not that necessarily a good thing. You just take the old one off, slap the new one on there. This is a pin. You disconnect it here and pull the pin out and swing this up out of your way. I can't disconnect it right now. I have to do both sides, but then we'll give you another demonstration after this is disconnected and of how much articulation you get in the front end. Here the sway bar the pin has been pulled and they've been separated. A little stiff. They say they're going to break in. You swing this up out of your way. Now you have no sway bar holding everything together. as you can see the difference, we've got the passenger side tire up 9.5 inches, and that one is up half an inch off the ground. I'm going to show you another picture. You can look across. You can see that tire is still touching the ground, and this one's 9.5 inches up. I think that gives you a lot more articulation to keep those tires on the ground. Hook that up with my Aussie Locker. There's nothing I'm going to be able to, not going to be able to climb.